All right, y'all. So sorry I'm not here today to walk you through this, but you can text me or email me with any questions that you have. We are going to start today in our roadmap for sweat. So go ahead and have that open. And if you remember from last class, we had reviewed kind of the conflict of sweat. So I had practiced using the Old Spice commercial, and I had modeled this tool for you called Somebody Wanted But So. So in the Old Spice commercial, the son wants to be his own person. His dad wants the son to be just like him. So the son chooses his own body wash and the dad accepts him for who he is. And this is a summary of the story as well as, identifying this conflict and this resolution. So you last class analyzed the story of sweat for conflict by writing down what Delia, the wife, wanted or needed, but what got in the way of that, and then how it was resolved. So hopefully you got that part done and that you understand the conflict of this text. Then the next step that we did was we looked back into our text and we found a detail about the character using steel. And we made an inference about the characteristic that that detail demonstrated. So, for example, in the Old Spice commercial, the father, a detail is that he was wearing only a towel and he was in a tropical, exotic environment. So, an inference that I can make about him is that he is confident, free spirited, and relaxed. The son is dressed very professionally and he can't even get a word in at first with his dad. And he is in like a very professional office environment. So I can infer that he is more reserved, conventional, and professional. And you can see that these are character foils. They are opposites of each other. And the author did that on purpose in order to get to their overall theme of their text and to develop the conflict of their text. So you did the same. You found a detail about Delia and made an inference about her, a characteristic of hers. Then you found a detail about Sykes and made an inference about him. And then you moved into this paragraph, which is what I want to focus on for today. So the first thing you need to think about is how does this foil, this contrast of these two characters, impact the plot or conflict of the story? And you're going to do that in your paragraph by first presenting your evidence for each character and your inference for each character. And then you are going to explain the conflict. So I did that here. The father doesn't wear clothing and shows off his body wash's exotic features, which demonstrates that he is a showy, confident man. In contrast, the son is dressed conservatively and can't get a word in with his father, which shows that he is more modest and reserved. The conflict is these characters develop, these character foils develop the conflict that the father wants his son to be just like him, but the son wants to be his own man. So there's my evidence, my inferences, and then the conflict of the story. And then my last step is to think about what is the author trying to tell us about their thematic topic? What do they want us as an audience to understand when we read this story? So the commercial wanted us to understand that people should be their own person by developing their own taste and personality. So when you do yours, you're thinking about your evidence from Delia and the characteristic that you can tell about from her evidence about Sykes, the characteristic you inferred from the evidence about him, the conflict that you talked about up here, and then you need to think about this author's commentary about gender roles. So consider that Sykes plays the role of a male. And what male norm does he live up to? What does he do that is supposedly manly? And this is not saying that that is right or wrong. This is just saying, like, what does he fit into as a quote unquote man? And then also, what does Delia fit into as a quote unquote woman? What role does she play that is specific to women? And what do you think the author thinks about that? Does she think that these roles are good or bad? That these roles are fair or unfair? And what impact do they have on people? So you're taking this not just from this story, but in the real world. When men and women live by these gender norms or gender roles, is that good or bad? And that's what you're writing for your green section of your paragraph. Your final task is to go to the exit ticket, and you are going to write a claim to show how Hurston uses character foils to develop a social commentary on gender. So you're essentially taking that green part and you're putting it here, but you're also adding the author's name, the device, which is character foils, and the author's commentary or message. And then if you need a sentence stem, I'm just going to give you one here, a sentence frame. A blank, which is the author's name, uses blank, the device, to convey her social commentary that is your final task for today. Don't worry about day 2. We're going to move on to our next text, next class. So this will be your last task with the text of Sweat.